Now let's dive into today's main topic. President Bola Tinubu's recent media chat will be analyzing a statement and exploring what they really mean for Nigeria's future. Some highlights from the chat include him saying he doesn't have regrets whatsoever removing subsidy and that it's necessary. He also did say there is no other way for Nigeria to grow unless we invest in our today. There is the part of it that talks about his confidence in the security architecture and that there is no need to probe service chiefs. He did say he's proud of their efforts. There were questions in the light of cutting the cost of governance as well as the intention of government in that regard. He mentioned that all the members of his cabinet are doing quite well. Let's bring you our coverage of that media chat and what Mr. President said.
Of fuel subsidy.
In his inaugural speech on May 29, 2023, President Tinubu declared the withdrawal of subsidies, citing the absence of any such provisions in the 2023 Appropriation Act.
And what I've heard is that no provision is there for fuel subsidy. So fuel subsidy is gone.
At the media chat, the president explained that his administration has no intention of inflicting pain on Nigerians, but that all his policies are aimed at making life better for Nigerians.
Livestock is to turn a disaster to prosperity for Nigeria. We have what it takes. We have the arable land, we have animal stock, we have the opportunity. We just have to remove the conflicting element and commercialize the venture.
President Tinubu also spoke on the tax reform bills, emphasizing that the bills are targeted at easing livelihood for the poor.
The essence of the tax reform is to eliminate colonial days assumptions in our tax environment. Look at this tax reform. It's pro-poor. The vulnerables are not to pay taxes. All we ask for is widen the net, bake the cake larger, so that we can share a larger meal.
The president also addressed the issue of corruption, emphasizing that one of the ways to stop corruption is to block the loopholes. Responding to questions on the performance of his ministers, the president says he has no plan to reduce the size of his cabinet and that all ministers are adding value.
Pay them good and living wages. I have moved from 35,000 to 70,000. To me, that's anti-corruption. And if I can earn more, I've given more money to the state and local government level. I've been transparent with my earnings.
President Tinubu again offered condolences to the families of victims involved in the recent stampedes in Oyo, Anambra, and the Federal Capital Territory, while emphasizing the importance of organization in such initiatives.
Reactions continue to trail Mr. President's position during his maiden media chat. The latest is coming from the opposition People's Democratic Party that says that media chat validates the APC's insensitivity and disconnection from the Nigerian people. Recall that on Monday, Mr. President stated that financial discipline has been introduced with additional funds being allocated to development projects. He also mentioned that borrowing is being utilized to finance infrastructure. In a statement on Tuesday, the PDP National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba, expressed concern that while the APC has failed to explain the savings from the removal of subsidies, Nigerians are enduring severe economic hardship. The PDP asserts that Monday's presidential media chat further confirms that APC administration's confirms APC's administration sensitivity to the current widespread hardship and suffering being faced by Nigerians, resulting in all the ill-implemented and anti-people policies of the APC. Joining me via Zoom on the show today is public affairs analyst Kayode Salako. Mr. Salako, Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining us on the program this evening.
Thank you very much for having me on the show. Merry Christmas.
Wish you the same.
To all of us.
Absolutely. How would you evaluate Mr. President's performance in his first media chat? Did he adequately address the concerns of Nigerians?
Yeah, thank you very much. I listened to President Bola Tinubu, 2 days ago when he had a media chat with some media executives. And I listened to how he responded to their questions. And I saw a man, a president, who sounded very confident and convinced about what he set to achieve for Nigeria. President Bola Tinubu sounded like a Nigerian leader who came with a mission to achieve what he set, what he is convinced are the best that he must achieve for Nigeria. So, if I say he adequately addressed the issues from the questions posed to him, posted to him, some Nigerians might have mixed feelings with that. If I say he didn't, some Nigerians will still have mixed feelings with that. But as a Nigerian and as an individual, I must say that from the content of Mr. President's responses to the questions the media houses, asked him, he sounded like a man who is convinced, is undeterred. He believes that he is doing the right thing for Nigeria, and that he is also aware of the negative impact of his reformative agenda and government. He even cited some examples. One of the examples is that one of his personal friends who was living on 5 Rolls Royce, how to resort to using an undercar, abandoning those Rolls Royce for now, and using his undercar. So that is to let you know that Mr. President is aware. He's not shying away from the fact that he's aware that Nigerians are going through difficult times now.
On the contrary, Mr. Salako, that example was trending today on X. The interpretation for many Nigerians is quite different from the way you are putting it. They are asking the question of empathy, that whether or not that example demonstrates empathy for economic struggles many Nigerians are faced with. Because we are looking at a situation where individuals, the people who are feeling the hardship we're talking about cannot even afford to buy cars.
Well, if there's anybody who should show empathy to the situation Nigerians are going through right now, if there's one person who should show empathy, it should be Mr. President, because he is the father of the nation right now. He is in the position where Nigerians see him as the father of all of us in Nigeria. is the one Nigerians are looking up to. So if there's anybody who should show empathy, it is Mr. President. And I think Mr. President knows the definition of empathy before he decided to cite that example. I have said it, that Mr. President appears convinced and confident on what he is doing for Nigeria. He believes that the way he is doing it is what Nigeria and Nigerians must bear the brunt, so that the positive result of what he's doing can come with the benefits of the reforms he feels is implementing for Nigeria right now. So I won't say Mr. President does not have empathy. All I'm just going to say is that he knows the definition of empathy.
All right.
This is a man who said he has been giving out palliatives and giving out envelopes as a private Nigerian for about 25 years in his house. A man who does not have empathy won't be given palliative to Nigerians for 25 years, even when he was not the president. But Mr. President thinks he is doing the right thing for Nigeria.
All right.
And like a father who is the head of a family, would also sound when he believes that he is running the affairs of the family, he is doing certain things for the family, so that his children can benefit from that effort, from that agenda.
I am persuaded that the verdict lies with the majority of the people to whom Mr. President is accountable to as president, and individuals who are also, as we speak, feeling the impact of the policies of this administration. One of the issues that have been raised is seeing government also showing some sense of responsibility in cutting the cost of governance. Mr. President mentioned that he apparently dismissed suggestion to trim the cabinet size, passing a vote of confidence on his cabinet. Talk to me about how you think Nigerians should resonate, with an administration to whom they are saying, you know what, you want us to live within our means. Perhaps we should also lead by example in that regard.
Well, the type of president we have in Nigeria now, the kind of president we have in Nigeria now, seems not intimidated or bothered by whatever Nigerians feel is not doing right. He feels he is doing it right for Nigeria. And let me tell you this. I have granted 1 or 2 interviews in the past on other media platforms where I said this, that Nigeria has been kind to Mr. President all his life. He has achieved everything a Nigerian can aspire to achieve from his country. Nigeria has been so good to him. The only legacy I believe Mr. President Bola Tinubu should be working for now is the legacy of his name. The kind of the name, the impression of the name, the story of the name he wants to leave behind as one of the Nigerian presidents, one of the lucky Nigerians,
all right,
who have had the opportunity of running the affairs of the country. He knows that the only thing he owes Nigeria right now is the legacy of whether he's going to leave a good name behind or he's going to leave a bad name behind. Today, Nigerians talk about the legacies of Obafemi Awolowo, the positive legacies of the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo. And those legacies are still resonating in the consciousness of Nigerians. Today, Nigerians are talking about the positive legacies of the late Nnamdi Azikiwe, the one-time president of Nigeria, Tafawa Balewa, and others. People are talking about their legacies today, whether in positive manners, historically, or in negative stage. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu knows, or he should know, if he doesn't know, that all he owes Nigeria and Nigerians now is that historical legacy of the kind of name he's going to be leaving behind. And this man is saying, I am doing it right for Nigeria.
All right.
I am doing it right for Nigeria. I am not reversing any of my policies.
All right.
Because I believe that is what Nigeria needs now.
I hear you clearly.
And that is the angle I'm going to be contributing.
And I believe that Nigerians will be counting on that as they watch closely to see the impact of these policies and the promises Mr. President has made. Public Affairs Analyst Kayode Salako, thank you so much for talking to us on the program this evening.
Thank you for having me on the show. Once again, Merry Christmas, Nigeria.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Thanks for being a part of the show. You can watch it again at midnight and 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi Oguntoye.
Hi.